The materials required for the mesh crochet beanie are a Panda Magnum soft 8-ply yarn, and this was purchased from Lincraft Australia, and I'm using a pink colour, and it's saying to use a 4mm hook, but we'll be using a 5mm hook. And if you can't get your hands on this yarn, then any soft 8-ply yarn or a soft medium worsted weight yarn or DK yarn is fine. So as I said, we'll be using a 5mm hook. You'll be needing 98 centimeters or 37.5-inch double-sided satin ribbon to wrap around the beanie. And I've picked that up just from a budget store. I've also needed a button, and I placed that in the middle of the bow that I make of the ribbon. And with these buttons, it's called Sullivan's Buttons for Sewing and Craft, and it's through Sullivan's, but I bought them at Lincraft. Now you'll need some craft scissors, a stitch marker, a yarn needle and a tapestry needle with some cotton thread to sew the button on. With 100 grams you should be able to get 2 adult size beanies. So to get started, we'll make our slip knot. Just leaving a little bit of a tail there, and we'll work that into the beanie. And with your 5mm hook, we'll be starting at the crown of the beanie, which is the top of the beanie. So we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll be joining into the first chain stitch to form a ring, and just doing a slip stitch there. We'll be working over this tail, and for round 1 we're going to do 8 single crochet stitches into the ring. So there's 1, and you can place your marker in the first single crochet there. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Now because we're working in a continuous round for the entire pattern for the crown, we're not joining into our first stitches with a slip stitch. So we'll just be working a stitch into that and then continue working around, or stitches. So for round 2, so you can leave your tail alone now. It's been crocheted in, so we can pull that tight later. For round 2, we're going to do 2 single crochet into each stitch around. So there's our first one. So just pop the marker back in so we don't get lost. and then in that same stitch do a second single crochet stitch. So we've got 2 single crochet. Into the next stitch we'll do 2 single crochet. So there's 1, 2, and the same again. Into the next stitch, 1, 2, into the next stitch, 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and we just keep going right around with 2 single crochet into each stitch. Until we have 16. One, 2, 1, 2, and we're up to the last one here, and we know that because the stitch marker is right there, and that was the first stitch we made there. So 1, 2. And using the stitch marker, it just means that you don't have to keep a track of counting really. It just makes it a whole lot easier. You know that this is going to be your last stitch here. Okay, so now we're on to round 3. We'll take the marker out and we'll do 1 single crochet into that stitch and put the marker back in to the stitch we just made. And then we're going to do 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And then we're basically going to do that right around. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So 1, 1, 2 into that stitch. So repeat that right around for round 3. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and you repeat that right to the end, just before the marker, and you'll have 24 stitches. So we're at the end of round 3 and finished by doing 2 single crochet into the last stitch there. And for round 4 we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So let's do our first one there. So 1 single crochet there and pop the marker back in. And 1 single crochet into each stitch right around. So continue on right around and I'll see you at the end and you'll still have 24 stitches. Okay, so we've done our 1 single crochet into each stitch around for round 4 and I've done my last one there just before the stitch marker. So for round 5, we'll take our stitch marker out and we'll do 1 single crochet into the next stitch and put our marker back in. And we'll do 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2, because we're increasing. So into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, into the next stitch, 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and we'll continue to do that right around. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So repeat that right around, and you'll be finishing just before the stitch marker. And at the end of this round you should have 36 stitches. So I'm at the end of round 5, and I've made my last 2 single crochet stitches into the last stitch there. And for round 6, take our marker out, do 1 single crochet into that stitch, pop the marker back in, and we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and so on. So continue with your 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and I'll see you at the end. So we're at the end of round 6 and we've still got 36 stitches. For round 7, take the marker out and we'll do 1 single crochet into that stitch, put the marker back in, and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Now 2 single crochet into the next stitch, so 1, 2 into that stitch, and this is the sequence we'll be using. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So we've got 1, 2, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So repeat that right around, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and repeating right around, right to the stitch just before the marker. So I'm at the end of round 7 and I've got 48 stitches, and into the last stitch I made 2 single crochet stitches. For round 8 we'll be doing 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So into this first stitch, do 1 single crochet and pop your marker back in, doing 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So continue right around with 1 stitch, 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch around, and at the end here you should still have your 48 stitches. So at the end of round 8 we've done my last single crochet in that last stitch there before the marker, and for round 9 take the marker out and do 1 single crochet into that stitch, and then place the marker back in, and then we'll do 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So we've got 3 single crochet stitches there, and into the next stitch we'll do 2 single crochet stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and that's the sequence we'll be doing right around for round 9. So it's 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So repeat that right around, 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and repeating right around until you get to just before the marker, and at the end of round 9 you'll have 60 stitches. So I'm up to the end of round 9 and I've just made my last 2 single crochet stitches into the last stitch before the marker. And for round 10, take out the stitch marker, do a single crochet into that stitch, place the marker back in, and do a single crochet into each stitch right around. So 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch, and continue on that way right around, and at the end of round 10 you'll still have 60 stitches. So I've made my last single crochet into the last stitch there for round 10, and to start round 11, take the marker out, make a single crochet stitch into that stitch and place the marker back in. Oops. And we'll be doing another single crochet into the next stitch, a single crochet into the next stitch, and a single crochet into the next stitch. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet stitches over 4 stitches, and then we'll increase by putting 2 single crochet stitches into the next stitch. So this will be the sequence for this round. So 4 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches and 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So I'll show you again. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So we've done 4, and then into the next stitch we'll do 2 single crochet stitches. So continue around with 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and at the end here you should have 72 stitches. So at the end of round 11 I've finished into the last stitch with 2 single crochet stitches. Now for round 12, I'll take the marker out, make a single crochet stitch into that stitch, place the marker back in, We'll be doing a single crochet stitch into each stitch around for this 12th round. So one single crochet into each stitch around. So continue on, and I'll see you at the end of the round here, and you'll still have 72 stitches. Now we're at the end of round 12, and we've made our last single crochet stitch into the stitch just before the stitch marker. So you can take your marker out now, and we're just going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch, and that completes the crown or the top of the beanie. There you go. Now at this point I'm just going to weave this centre tail in, so just giving that a slight pull there to tighten that centre up, and then just weave your yarn tail through those stitches in the centre there. And then just trim that off. So now we'll be making the sides. And for round 13 we'll chain one, and then we'll do one single crochet into that same space as the slip stitch there, and then we're going to chain one, and this counts as one double crochet stitch. So place your marker into that chain one that you just did, because that is where we'll come around and join into at the end of the round. So now we'll chain one, and we'll skip one stitch here, and we'll do one double crochet into the next stitch. And we're starting to make that mesh pattern. So we're going to repeat that right around. So we'll chain one, skip one stitch, one double crochet stitch into the next stitch. Chain one, skip one stitch, one double crochet into the next stitch. So repeat this right around with a chain one, skip one stitch, double crochet stitch into the next stitch. And I'll see you at the end here. So now I'm at the end of round 13, and I've done my last double crochet stitch there, and I'm going to do a chain one, skip that last stitch there, and we'll be joining into the chain one that we made at the start. And do a slip stitch to join that round. Okay, So for round 14 we'll chain 1 and we're going to do a single crochet into this double crochet stitch. And then we'll do a chain 1 and place your marker in that chain 1, because remember this is counted as one double crochet stitch now, and this chain 1 will be where we join at the end of the round. And now we'll chain 1 and we're going to skip the chain 1 space here, and there's the chain 1 there, and we'll do a double crochet on top of the double crochet stitch below. And then we'll chain 1, skipping this space here and working into the top of the double crochet stitch, making a double crochet stitch. So chain 1, skipping chain 1 space and make a double crochet on top of the double crochet stitch below. Chain 1, skip the space and the chain 1 there, and double crochet on top of that double crochet stitch below. So you're going to repeat this right around. Chain 1, skipping the chain 1 space, double crochet on top of that double crochet stitch below. So continue right around until the end, and I'll show you how to join. I'm at the end of round 14 and I've just made a chain 1 here, and we're going to join into this chain 1 where we've got our marker. By making a slip stitch. And that's the end of round 14. So for rounds 15 to 20 you'll repeat round 14, which was the round that we just did. So I'll see you at the end of round 20 and show you how to do the rest of the beanie. So now I'm at the end of round 20 after having repeated round 14 for 6 more times, and this is what the beanie is looking like so far. So now we're up to round 21, although if you do want the beanie sides to be longer, you can just keep repeating round 14 and that'll grow down. And you can pop that on your head and see whether this is long enough for you. But like I said, if it's not long enough for you at this point, just continue to repeat round 14 so you get the length you want. Okay, so for round 21, this is the last round and we'll be doing the edging. So chain 1, and then we'll do a single crochet into the same space as that chain 1 there. So that's our first stitch, and we'll place our marker into it. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet into each chain 1 space and double crochet stitch. So we've done 1 there into the double crochet stitch, and now we'll do a single crochet into that chain 1 space, and then a single crochet into this double crochet stitch, a single crochet into the space, a single crochet into this double crochet stitch, single crochet into the space, single crochet into the double crochet stitch below, single crochet into the space. And so you'll keep going right around doing the exact same thing I've just shown you there, and you'll be making your last single crochet into the last chain 1 space. Now I'm at the end of round 21 after making the edging, and I've done my last single crochet stitch into the space, the last space here before the marker. And now we're just going to join into that first single crochet stitch with a slip stitch to join this round. And we can finish off. So cut the end of your yarn and finish off. Now with your yarn needle, we're going to thread this piece of yarn through the needle, and we can see the knot there. I'm just going to take the needle down into that stitch. And this will flatten out that knot. And then we're just going to run our yarn towel through the back of the stitches of the edging. And you can go as long as you like up there, and then just come back down. So skip 1 loop of a stitch there, and then just bring the needle back down. And then just trim that off. And there's our beanie done. So now we just have to put the ribbon on. And when you're putting the ribbon on, you really want to pop this, well, first thread the ribbon through. And how you do that is just make sure you've got the center of the beanie here, and just count down. So you want to place your ribbon on round, what was it? Round 18. So that was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And finding the middle of round 18, it's around there. So I know that want to start weaving in the ribbon there. And just weave it in and out of the chain 1 spaces. So continue to do that right around, and I'll see you when you've done that. So I've finished weaving in my ribbon, and you just want to make sure that your ends are even. So mine are a little off there, so I just need to pull this end through a little more, because when we go to tie the bow, you want it to be even. So at this point you can tie your bow and you can trim these ends off to neaten it up. So if you're not going to have the button, that's the end of the pattern. But if you are going to place the button in the middle of the ribbon, you really need to place this on the head of whoever's going to wear it, and make sure that this ribbon is the right tightness around the head, because you don't want to tie a bow, sew this on, and then try to fit it onto someone's head and it's too tight or something like that. So just make sure that this is the right tightness. Okay, so to sew this button on, you'll need your tapestry needle and cotton thread, and usually I will actually sew through the middle and just get it to stay there first with the cotton, and then just come back up through, and then you can start to sew the needle on. The button on. You don't want to sew a needle on. And you would just sew that on as normal, but making sure you sew through the middle of that ribbon to make sure that it's all going to stay in place. And generally sew onto a stitch as well of the hat, and that just makes sure it's even more secure. And coming up through the ribbon, the middle of the ribbon, with your needle. And through the button hole in the back there, and back down through the ribbon. And then you can just make a knot here. And do that so many times, and then just hide the cotton through the work like that, and then trim that off. And like I said, just trim those ends and tidy that up. And that's how you get your crochet mesh beanie.